Thank you, Mr. Chair and Ranking Member. Mr. Dean and Mr. Moline, again, thank you very much for being here today. Just one thing in the interest of time, maybe that APHIS could do better going forward, and then also maybe what the producers could do as well, if you were empowered to do so, if there was something that you could do to help the situation.
Thank you, Senator Ernst. What APHIS can do with the government, and the government can do with producers and growers, number one, the two things that have to be done is clear communication, start to finish. When we get that presumptive positive on the farm, we need to be contacted immediately by the USDA. On our farm, we broke on a Tuesday morning. Our first contact with the USDA was Thursday, and we didn't depopulate until Saturday. With the clear communication, one area that was improved is when the USDA and APHIS sent Dr. Scheer out to Iowa. He straightened up a lot of the miscommunication that was coming from contractors, and straighten up a lot of the other things that were getting misconstrued and just blatantly false. The second area that APHIS needs to improve on is the paperwork that is for these farmers and producers that we have to do moving forward. We want to keep all of our employees employed. We don't want them going to the unemployment lines. So I myself have over 40 hours of paperwork involved with our 3 sites that were infected. Those hours could have been better utilized cleaning buildings, removing litter, disinfecting. By streamlining the paperwork end of things, it's going to allow the producers to have a clear roadmap of exactly what they're going to get paid, and it'll allow them to make the decisions almost immediately because they know that they will be getting paid for everything that they do, and it will encourage them to do it themselves, and will save the government money because you'll rely less on outside contractors.
So empowering the producers to do more of the work.
Absolutely.
I think
encourage the producers to do more work. We're doing our own. We have one site that's been environmentally tested and cleaned. We have 2 sites that will be done shortly, and we look to repopulate as soon as possible, looking at the end of July or early August.
Thank you. And Mr. Dean.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Moline's, all of his comments. The process can be streamlined. Dr. Scheer came into a horrible situation when he was given the assignment in Iowa, and he was completely behind the 8 ball, a lot of miscommunication. I think it can be streamlined. One of the requirements is that you must have a signed document before they can start, which has been a delay in the process to get somebody out and actually have that signature and have it signed, because there's been a lot of confusion. I think that can be streamlined, and I think Dr. Scheer is streamlining that. I also agree that there should be a greater incentive for the producer to do the clean and disinfecting, because they can do it a lot quicker and a lot more economical than what APHIS can do. APHIS is limited by their federal contractors, what they can do. They've got to suit up in the hazmat suits. For example, when we were depopulating our farms, our people were pulling out 4 birds to one of APHIS's birds. Or not APHIS, but the contractor, not APHIS wasn't doing the work, but the federal contractor we were pulling out 4 to 1, and I've heard several cases of that from other producers that are in the same situation. So I think that process can be streamlined. As far as stopping the spread of virus, like it was talked about, killing fans immediately. We've actually tried to save birds by killing fans before we even had a presumptive positive, because we could tell by the clinical signs we had it. So we wanted to protect other people, other farmers around us, and protect our own flocks from the spread and the large. So I think we've learned a lot of lessons going forward in this process that I think will improve the system.
Thank you very much. I do think this is an area that if we're encouraging our producers to take more of that on their own shoulders, they know their buildings, they know their operations best, and I think it does save dollars in the long run for use within APHIS to hopefully prevent the spread of this disease in the future. So again, thank you both for being here. We appreciate it. Thank you to the panelists for joining us today. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Donald.